Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a video I've kind of wanted to do for a while since I got my Fractal FM3 last summer. As many of you know, I do a lot of Fractal content on my channel, mainly John Mayer centered, and we all know that Continuum is kind of that pinnacle of John's songwriting and his playing. I mean, he's obviously getting better, but that's kind of what a lot of people recognize as some of his best work. So what I wanted to try to do was to recreate his Continuum rig in the Fractal FM3. Obviously this can translate to the FM9 and your Axe Effects 3 as well. But I just want to kind of compile everything that I've done so far and put it into one preset that can be used to recreate any of his songs. It can be really versatile and everything will fit in the signal chain in the FM3. So, but before that happens, don't forget to do all that YouTube-y stuff like subscribing to the channel and hitting that little like button and the bell. Just helps my channel to grow and just to support me and helping get more content out to you all. And don't forget to just put in the comments if you have any ideas of other tones that you might want, even tutorials, lessons. I'm always for doing stuff like that. Today we're going to use my trusty Mike Lowell SX Custom. And if you're wondering where the PRS SE Silver Sky is, I had to sell that last week to have a little extra cash. Not planning on getting anything, but this is going to be my main workhorse, kind of like it has been for the past year. So we're going to dive right into FM3 edit. We'll do a lot of playing samples. I'll try to dive as deep as I can into the signal chain and any subtle tweaks that I make, just to kind of give it that little extra John Mayer flavor. So here in FM3 edit, this is my John Mayer preset, and we're going to go through the signal chain first. Nothing special in the input. Right here I do have the noise gate on, but set pretty low. We're going to start with the pitch block, then we have a drive and the filter, which is going to be doing that kind of Qtron adrenaline, Roger Lynn adrenaline pedal type thing, the envelope filter. Then we have our amp and cab block. The delay is going to serve a couple different purposes, mainly for kind of a solo delay, and then something kind of more special for a song like In Repair that has eighth note repeats. And then I came up with something that's pretty similar to maybe a way huge Aqua Puss type of slapback sound. And then the reverb, it's one of my mainstays, something that John uses, not this exact reverb block, but in his rigs these days he uses the Bricasti Hall reverb. So we tried to recreate that. Not sure that he used that on Continuum, but overall this signal chain will get you through all of John's Continuum album. So let's start with the very basics. We're going to go amp and cab, and I'll do some playing samples along the way, but here are my settings. Main things I did were to, well, let's go to the ideal. Just because my pickups in this guitar are lower output, I pushed the master and even the level. I kind of like to run things a little bit hotter just to make it seem bigger in my headphones. But here are all the settings. I think everything else is pretty stock except, yep, everything else is stock. Sometimes I tend to put the gain enhancer on, but this is the clean scene and I don't have that on there at all. The cabs I like to use, these are ones I've talked about in other videos. We have the 4x12 rumble, nothing going on there in terms of its parameters. And then the Celestial, it's a G12, and and this is a mic'd up Celestion cab, so a room mic, and I put it on ultra res, and it's just so you can get that room reflection going on. Something that I noticed in Continuum, listening back to it, there's a lot of that raw kind of room feel to it. Nothing going on in the preamp except a little low cut, and you can dial this into however you want. And then the room level, I bumped it up to 22%. You can mess around with that. But let's go ahead, play some samples. Actually, let's go reverb block. That's probably the next best thing. It's the South Church modeled after Bricasti. Nothing special going on here. The spread, we're gonna have it up to, let's go to 100%. Don't know why that was on 95. And then we're gonna have it at about, let's bump it up a little bit to almost 18, and then we're gonna bump the time up a little bit. So just under 3 to give it a nice long tail. All right, let's go ahead and play something. We're just gonna play some quintessential John Mayer type stuff. So listening to that, you might think that it's a lot of reverb, which it probably is. But listening to Continuum and also listening to some of John's more recent like live streams, I hear a ton of reverb and a really, really long trail. So that's kind of what I was going for. And I put the quality on normal just to give it a little bit extra, just a little bit extra. We'll go with that. But let's go to scene number 2. So I call this the BB rhythm. So that's more of like the Bluesbreaker type of thing. So the main change right here is in the drive block. So let's go to that. And this is on the Blues OD, the modeled after the Bluesbreaker. So really, I feel like I'm giving you like all my secrets here. Like I do sell this preset, but I'm just gonna give it to you guys for free. So now you can just watch this video and dial it in to your heart's content. So these are the settings right here that I have. I did bump up the treble just a tiny bit just to give a little bit more clarity. Don't think, yeah, so on the amp, I did use a little bit of gain enhancer. Go into the ideal. I did turn the bright switch off, and it looks like the input trim is backed off to its neutral position. So you can see on the side here where it says channel, I do use all 4 channels. One of the channels is dedicated to 2 different scenes, but I like to tweak all the parameters to fit the drive block a little bit better, and just to kind of get a more accurate sound. So same settings on the cab and the reverb as well, but let's go ahead and hear how that sounds. So I think we could probably even pull back the treble here. I'm just gonna go to 0 right here. We're gonna hear how that sounds. Maybe even pull the level back on the Bluesbreaker. Just kind of warm it up a little bit more. Oh, I realized we were on the bridge, so that's probably why. So let's just go ahead and undo everything that I just did. So this is the Lawler Imperial Humbucker split combined with the middle pickup of it's the Lawler Blonde. And then just because I think it's really important, let's turn on the delay block, and I'm going to show you kind of what I dialed in for that way huge Aqua Puss type of tone. So that's John's kind of slapback, always on type of thing. It's barely even audible. Like, who knows if he used it in the studio, but definitely live he uses this a lot. So we're using the DM2, so that's the Boss DM2 delay, the old one, and it's about 90 milliseconds, and no feedback. Well, master feedback is up just a tiny bit, and right around almost 15% for the mix, just to make it seem a little bit more ambient, I guess. So let's go ahead and play Vultures again. You can kind of hear that little tiny slapback right there. It's not much. All right, so I feel like that's very important for, especially when you're combining with the Bluesbreaker. So let's go to scene number 3. So this is like my Tubescreamer type of thing. Now it's not like I wouldn't call this like a heavy type of Tubescreamer or his main solo type of tone. This is something that maybe he would use on the first solo for like slow dancing in a burning room, where it's got some grit to it, but it's not like full on saturated tone. So everything, let's go to the drive block here. There's a couple things going on. So the drive is pretty low, and I use the mix knob a little bit, of the mix parameter, just to give it a little extra of that dry signal coming through. I did give it a little low cut, and nothing else. Oh, forgot to do this. So something that you could try is using the biased and turning up just a little bit. From what we know, the Ibanez TS10, something that he's used a lot, is a little bit hotter in the bias. That's just something we John Mayer geeks have figured out. You can even mess with the different diodes. In the recent update, we got a new one that's apparently it's pretty close to like the original 808 or even a TS10, but we're gonna just leave it as it is. Go into the amp block. There's some minor adjustments here, so you can see all the tweaks. And for each scene, I like to have a little bit of volume bump, as you can see here on the level, and then a little bit of gain enhancer. And let's go ahead and leave the DM2 on, and let's just play a little bit. And this would probably be, like I've just played the gravity solo, that would be something you might use that for as well. And then let's move on to the lead. So this one is a little bit different, just because I'm doing something different in the amp block. But as you can see, I'm also using the drive channels again. So this is on channel C, using the T808 overdrive. Here are my settings, and also a little low cut and a little bit of treble boost here. And then this is kind of what I was talking about before. just to kind of get it a little bit more into that TS10 kind of realm. So I changed the diodes to this one right here, and then just bumped up the bias just a tiny bit. And then here in the amp block, you can see my settings here. And I did do a cut right here. And then the input boost is stacked with the T808. And you can see my settings here. It's just a neutral boost type and not much, just almost around 8 dB. And then the dynamics tab, we are using the gain enhancer again. So let's go ahead and hear how all that sounds. And if you wanted to, you could throw a delay on there. This is kind of my solo tape delay right here. Very subtle. And really just one repeat. It's mainly just to give a little trail on a solo. Like, again, like Belief, you might hear that. Alright, so those are the 4 main scenes, and now we're going to jump into some of more of the special effects. So one thing I really wanted to do is to make this whole preset live ready. So basically using one guitar and your FM3 or whatever, everything's dialed in there and you don't have to do much. So the reason why I say that is I threw in pitch block right here, and in channel B we're using the virtual capo to drop you down half a step for songs like Bold as Love or Heart of Life. So this is on that clean scene right here. We're gonna take the tone back a little bit, and we're on the 4th position of the Michael SX, but let's go ahead and take the pitch block off first. And then let's stay on the pitch block. So channel A is for that Pog 2 or that organ type of sound that uses on In Repair. And I did a video on this a couple weeks ago. So we're gonna go with channel A. And we did make a few tweaks after the video, but here are my settings. Did do a high cut here. And then I did do some detuning, not up but down. The amp and cab stay the same. And let's go to the delay block as well. Right here, we're using the digital mono. So we know that John used the Pog, and I believe it was the Line 6 DL4, and kind of a digital delay type of setting, set to 8th notes. So let's hear how this sounds. All right, so that's the in repair sound. Nothing special going on with the other delay tabs in the delay block. And again, the amp and cab and reverb stay the same the whole time. And then let's go to the last one. So another special effect that you would need for a continuum type of preset, and that's the kind of Roger Adrenaline 3 pedal, which he used for I Don't Trust Myself with Loving You. So that's what we're pulling up right here. For this, I believe we are using, so channel D is the amp, and I believe that is going to be based on, yep, Scene 2. So that was the Bluesbreaker one. So we're going to use all the same settings from channel D. So we're not going to talk about the amp or the cab right here. Drive also is going to stay exactly the same. But let's go to the filter block right here, and we'll just play a little bit first. So you can see my settings right here, and this is all going to depend on your pickups too. Hotter pickups will probably need less level, maybe even less Q as well, but set to low pass on the second order. Nothing LFO tab, but what you want to do is you want to right click on the frequency parameter, and here's how you set it up. I have another video that shows you how to do this as well, but you can kind of see all the settings that I have right here. And then something that I know that John's done with this song is he does throw a delay on there. You can do that if you want. We'll just go ahead and play a little bit for you. It's a pretty ambient kind of song, so that's why the delay would be on there. But I hope this was beneficial for you. If you are a John Mayer nerd and you have a Fractal and you love the Continuum album, I hope this preset does some justice to that. And just let me know how it works for you in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll try to recreate some more rigs later that John uses live and in the studio. All right, we'll see you next time. Bye.